What a beautiful sunshiny day here in Southern California. But the sun that gives us all these blessings and grows our food and gives us energy can also take down our grid, ruin our electronics and our radios. Hello and welcome to Sweet Home California. My name is Jennifer. Well, a couple days ago I saw an article that huge solar flares were getting active again on the sun, and it was affecting the radio transmissions in Asia and Australia. I'll put a link down in the description for some additional details. And also I remember hearing something about solar flares back in March, I think, of 2021, where Quebec suffered a power outage. I think it lasted for like 9 hours, and that was also attributed to the solar flares that were going on. And I read some more into this, and it looks like we are entering a period of heightened solar activity on the sun, and that we can expect more of these types of solar flares in the next few years. They say that that everything's in cycles, and they expect this increased activity to last at least until 2025. And this is part of the reason why I don't really buy into the whole man-made stuff, if you know what I mean. I know Twitter has just come out. This is before Elon Musk's bid was accepted, but Twitter had come out saying that they were going to moderate, basically, squash anybody who didn't buy into the whole man-made thing. But basically, 9 out of 10 scientists agree when the other 90 are removed from the platform. So I guess that's how you get consensus and keep it. But I trust you know what I'm talking about. In any case, the sun is the most powerful influencer on whether we're going into an ice age or whether we're going into a heating spell. And I don't know if you recall, but back in the 1970s, there were all sorts of news reports saying how we were going into another ice age. So global cooling has killed far more people than global warming does. With global warming, you have more areas of the globe where you can actually, grow things and produce food, assuming, of course, you've got fertilizer. But anyhow, my point today, though, was just talking about how these solar flares can affect us. And I know that there's a lot of current events going on in, the far side of the world with the former USSR countries at it with each other, and also the possibility of that expanding into NATO. And there are man-made EMP things that can destroy our electronic grid and things like that, but it doesn't have to be man-made. I mean, the world can be 100% at peace tomorrow, and I would still encourage people to be prepared against the unknown. Nature will have its way, and it can be very unpredictable. Solar flare could turn on and it could affect the United States. It's just a matter of, what side of the earth is facing the sun when one of those solar flares goes off as to what is going to be affected. Also, the FBI has put out that, to watch out for cyber attacks, that, our utilities could be affected, our food processing plants can be affected. Lumber mills, anything that is connected to the internet can be affected, but it doesn't have to be man-made. We can have enough problems just here with nature. So, given that, be prepared. Stock up on some shelf-stable foods. I would recommend that you maybe invest in a Kindle and download a whole bunch of books. You can upload PDF files to a Kindle. Put it in a safe space. Now, my husband's an electronic engineer, and his actual specialty is electromagnetic impulses and protecting electronics from those impulses. And so the problem is when you have a big burst of energy going through transistors, that's what can fry things. Which is, if you have like a very powerful surge protector on your house, then that can help mitigate against the effects of an EMP, because EMP is basically going to blow your transmission. I don't know. I'm not the EMP expert, but you know, that surge is what destroys things, you know, that are plugged in. If you have something that's going on overhead, you know, you can still have that kind of surge even in items not plugged into a wall, but may have a battery source internal. And you know, like your cell phones and things, that is really, you can't just take the battery out. And even if it's powered off, because that battery is in there, it can still have negative effects from a surge of you know, an EMP burst, or you know, a solar flare. But if you have something, say, I know the Kindles, you have those batteries in there as well, but if you put that in like a Faraday cage, and you can make a Faraday cage yourself with basically like a steel trash can, insulate it from touching the actual metal, and then that should be safe. So you keep your Kindle in there, you know, protected. And then in the event that you ever need it, you've got a wealth of information, because those Kindles can hold a lot of information, and you can get a lot of free stuff on, you know, PDF, or you can download inexpensive books from Amazon, and you'll just have those available for when you need them, because if the infrastructure were to go down, we are so dependent on the internet for information, it's not even funny. So think about expanding your library and having that in a Kindle that's safely stored away, that you don't use every day. You keep it safe from any sort of solar flares or EMP disruptions, or you know, things like that. Anyhow, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Do you think our government's doing enough to protect us against things from nature, things from our enemies? Anyhow, God bless. I appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you next time.